Sadness blankets the hearts of citizens and residents of the noble land, as well as the brotherly and friendly nations with the passing of the late Emir of the country, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah. His departure darkened Kuwait's sky in the clear of daylight, leaving hearts in sorrow for this grievous loss. With the loss of the Emir of forgiveness and pardon, the one with the white hands, the Emir of humility, with a pure heart and wise governance, we remember today, dear viewers, wherever you are, inside or outside Kuwait, we recall the virtues of our late leader and reflect on his efforts. May God have mercy on him for the benefit of the country and its people. As we bid farewell to His Highness, may God have mercy on him, to his final resting place beside the Almighty. We pray that God, in his vast mercy and forgiveness, grants him the highest paradise.
His Highness the late Amir, Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah, may Allah rest his soul, dedicated over 6 decades to the progress and prosperity of Kuwait, leaving behind an illustrious legacy in both local and international arenas. In 2020, the people of Kuwait, along with the parliamentary and political consensus, honored and pledged allegiance to him as the 16th Emir, ushering in a new era marked by wisdom and prosperity. After years of navigating triumphs and regional challenges, the late Emir passed away, leaving an indelible mark on the state of Kuwait, the Arab and Islamic nations, and the world. His leadership was focused on the development of the state of Kuwait, promoting peace and ensuring stability globally and regionally. Assuming various governmental roles before becoming the Emir, His Highness the late Emir Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah served as the governor of Hawali Governorate in February of 1962. Later, he took on the crucial position of Minister of the Interior in March of 1978, succeeding the late Father Amir, Sheikh Saad Al-Abdullah Salim Al-Sabah. In this role, he diligently worked to ensure the national security and to protect the freedom and dignity of the citizens. Transitioning to the Minister of Defense in January of 1988, His Highness the late Emir Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah continued his commitment to enhancing both civil and military functions, leaving a significant impact on the nation's security.
To the enduring legacy of the late Emir, Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah, a distinguished leader whose tenure has significantly impacted Kuwait's history, our coverage today will delve into the different dimensions of his role, examining how he influenced Kuwait's identity, bolstered its international standing, and played a key role in promoting its fundamental values. Now we shed light on the philanthropic legacy of the late Emir, Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah, through his contributions in humanitarian aid. The late Emir played a significant role in supporting and providing assistance to those in need and the affected across the globe. The late Emir leaves behind a humanitarian imprint that remains vivid in our hearts and in humanitarian history of Kuwait. In the forthcoming report, we will present the humanitarian aid provided by the late Emir Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah, highlighting his benevolent contributions. One of the most prominent humanitarian aspects of the late Emir's role was evident in the humanitarian efforts he led to assist needy nations. Under his wise leadership, Kuwait played a significant role in providing aid to Gaza, Turkey, and Pakistan. demonstrating his commitment to humanitarian cooperation and solidarity. In the context of the earthquake that struck Turkey, Kuwait, under the guidance of the late Emir, stood firmly by its side. Financial and humanitarian support was provided to the affected, contributing to alleviating their suffering and rebuilding the affected areas.
We are in deep sorrow. The Muslim world, Muslim Ummah, and the whole world mourns the loss of an important leader and a statesman, the late Amir, Sheikh Nawaf. He was not only loved, appreciated, and admired by his people, but also by nations across the entire region and the world. His humble, tolerant, and compassionate leadership set a remarkable example, showcasing him as a true statesman of his people, a true friend to Turkey as well, under his guidance.
I remember the words of Sheikh Sabah Salim. These words that he said reminds me of a verse of poetry and reflect that he is not a ruler but a brother, a friend, a father, and a normal person. But his responsibility put him in the position of the Amir. But if you look at his humbleness, you find him a normal person walking with you and who will live with you your sorrows and your happiness. We never find this in another country. These cohesions between the Kuwaiti people and members of the royal family and the love between them has started with the official and even before the official announcement of the state of Kuwait. There is a complete melting between the two sides because the people of Kuwait have always extended their hands to everybody in need, either as you see in the final events that are taking place in Gaza. More than 30 airplanes have served the medical assistance and aid. And this is not new for the state of Kuwait. It is always one of the countries who are performing good and giving to the needy people around the world, either in the time of earthquakes or floods. The first country is always the state of Kuwait through the Red Crescent charitable organizations and other charitable entities. This is always common in Kuwait because it's always in help and assistance of everybody else away from any political or other conditions. Kuwait is providing help for the human only, and that is why it is distinguished. When there is Kuwaiti assistance, everybody accepts them in adversity of other organizations who require political stances and statements. But in Kuwait, always they serve their assistance to the human being without any political conditions. That is this characteristics of the state of Kuwait. Even the staff of the Red Crescent, they said when we go to the calamity or catastrophic people, we find that they welcome the state of Kuwait because they know that this assistance comes from a country that is used to provide assistance to people in need, because this is their habit since their initiation. Dr. Ghanem, if you would like to go back to the inside the house of the Kuwaiti society, away from what's happening in our regional arena, we enjoy internal stability that is always reflected on the cooperation spirit that should be there between the executive and the legislative powers. The directives of the late Amir was always to cooperate. This is what we witnessed in the speeches delivered by Sheikh Al-Jabr Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah as representative of the late Amir in the National Assembly, when he always called for cooperation between the two powers. We have followed, and you followed, and the viewers always have followed his keenness to this type of relationship through his speeches to the members of the two executive and legislative powers. And we should put in front of us that Kuwait is requiring cohesion and unity through the cooperation of the two powers to reach political stability. Of course, his late Amir was always sticking to the constitution, and even when he came to power in his first speech, he highlighted his stickness to the constitution and his application of the law, and always remind them of the country of constitutions, and that there should be always laws governing these issues. Dispute in views could be healthy, but we should not disagree together. We should keep away from any issues that might stop the wheel of development in the state of Kuwait. This might help the discussion of any issue, and we hope that this distinguished relation will continue between the different powers to guarantee the stability of the state of Kuwait, because without stability there will be no development, and there will be no economy, no flourishment. So the late Amir was always keen to abide by the provisions of the constitutions and the application of the laws, and not to differentiate between the citizens. What we see right now with our viewers is the last few minutes in the condolences serving ceremony, but our sadness will not end over the demised Amir. Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, may Allah bless his soul. The coming period requires us to be one line. We see different military representatives from the National Guard, the Amiri Guard, the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Defense, and different military organizations coming to serve condolences to His Highness. This day is difficult for every Kuwaiti, and there's no way to escape the sorrow we have in our hearts. But we are optimistic because we lost a wise leader, but we have also a wise leader who's following his predecessor, who will lead our ship to the shore of safety and tranquility, who is Sheikh Mishal Al-Ahmad. We lost Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, the man with good manners, the humble man, and he has all the good traits, and people have always loved him. Today it's difficult to talk about a man like Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah. May Allah bless him and rest his soul in peace. Every Kuwaiti house has a certain memory of him. I always go to different occasions and find Sheikh Nawaf is there with his very humble character, asking about the people, loves the others, and has a great love for the people of Kuwait. Sheikh Nasser Al Muhammad is hugging his brother, His Highness the Amir of Kuwait, Sheikh Mishal Al Ahmad Al Jabir Al-Sabah, to serve him condolences. And this is the last moments we see at the end of any condolences ceremony. When the ceremony is ending, the family members will shake hands to each other and serve the condolences to the Amir, Sheikh Mishal Al Ahmad Al Jabir Al-Sabah. May Allah bless him and extend his life with health and power to shoulder this sorrow, and to help him shoulder the responsibility and the people waiting him to lead the course to further prosperity and development. This unity we see in the royal family and the love of its members to their leader and Amir in the coming period, which is a difficult one. We hope the state of Kuwait to always be stable and enjoying prosperity. These are sad moments, but it reflects the cohesion between the members of the one family. We feel comfortable because they are in one unity as one man, and this shall reflect on the prosperity and the stability of the state of Kuwait. They shake hand with Amir Sheikh Mishal Al Ahmad Al Jabir in a great love for this leader who will hopefully lead Kuwait to the safe shore and prosperity and development to be the slogan of the next period. Our condolences is also served to Sheikh Mishal, who stood along the 3 days receiving condolences in the loss of his brother with sorrow and pain. We tell him that our hope is in you, and that you will lead the course of Kuwait, and that your reign will be a reign of stability and prosperity, hopefully. We have to be also loyal and listening to His Highness, as we heard from the late Sheikh Nawaf, and from Sheikh Mishal when he was a crown prince. He always repeated these words in front of Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Sabah, and after he finished he said, we are always listening and obeying, and repeat it, listening and repeating, and what you order will happen, inshallah. It shows that obeying the leader is always our duty. His Highness the Amir of Kuwait now leaves. The Amir of Kuwait, may God bless and protect him, leaves Bayan Palace after receiving the condolences for 3 days. The whole Kuwait is sorrow for the loss of the late Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Jabir Al Sabah. May Allah bless his soul. There is no doubt that it's a great sorrow, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to grant him a space in His vicious paradise he left us in peace, and we hope God will bestow His mercy over him. Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Jabir Al-Sabah, the father of everybody, has left us. We have a great pain and sorrow for losing the man of love, the man of praying, the man of humbleness. His love is in the hearts of everybody and are unified in his respect, and felt sorrow for losing him. He spent his life in serving the country, loving his country, and putting its interest in front of everything else.
مثل سموك تعرف حنا نصلح ما نبي نهدم، وفي بعض من يشوش ويعمل تشويش على أساس الجديد الحكومة الجديدة أو النظام الجديد يتغير أو لا، أنا مع الدستور ومع القانون ونمشي بنفس الوضع اللي يتطلب فيه، ومطالبة شعبنا لازم نوفيها ونكملها لكل الطلبات اللي هم يعني يعانون منها، وهذا لازم الحكومة تنفذه.
نعم
إن شاء الله.
نعم.
وأنت على راسهم يا إنك تقدر أيضا تلتقي مع أخوانك وهذا تبحثون كل هذه المواضيع اللي تهم المواطن. أنا يهمني المواطن وراحته، لا يقول إني أنا النظام الجديد الحين ما عامل لي شيء، لا، أبي يعرف إنه النظام الجديد جاء على أساس ينظم حاله ويساعد كل المحتاج من شعبه، والإصلاح اللي هو يبي يقدمه لشعبه، والله يوفق الجميع. وإن شاء الله بلقاءاتك مع أخوانك والأعضاء اللي شو اسمه تقدرون تبحثون هذه الأوضاع اللي تتطلب الشعب يعني يعاني منها شوي، توفرونها له، وهذا يعني شيء بسيط وتحت أمرتكم، وإن شاء الله فيكم البركة اللي تقدرون تعملون كل واجب اللي يملي عليكم. والله يوفق الجميع إن شاء الله لخدمة الوطن والمواطن.
That was live footage from Bayan Palace with His Highness the Amir, Sheikh Ahmad Al-Jabir Al-Sabah, and other members of the noble Al-Sabah family. Now, to delve deeper into the significant role played by the late Amir in humanitarian aid, we welcome the Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors of Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society, Mr. Anwar Al-Hasawi. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
I have a few questions for you. First one is, what is the humanitarian initiatives that were led by the State of Kuwait and the Kuwait Red Crescent Society to assist individuals in Palestine?
Yes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Of course, Kuwait Red Crescent, since it was established in 1966, it helped over 130 countries around the world. This help comes when the other countries are in need, and if there is an earthquake or there is floods, and also on if it's made by nature or by man, like wars. Kuwait Red Crescent and Kuwait by itself, it was one of the countries that always give without return, and this is why Kuwait has got the title of humanitarian country, and His Highness the previous Amir Sheikh Sabah, maybe the rest was president of the humanitarian society. Kuwait always, by second day, if not the third day, go to this affected countries, and they give by our volunteers. And whatever Kuwait has given, like if they put an amount of, let's say, 100 million, it spend it all of it, doesn't keep any of thing. And Of course, we are in Kuwait Red Crescent. We do this without any logistic things. And this is what His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad, maybe he lay rest, was also telling us to help other countries and to help people inside Kuwait, whoever need anything, to help him and to help other countries. And this is what happened in the late situation in Gaza, that he was ordering us to help, and he was appointing us for the air bridge.
Excellent.
We have sent over 140 planes.
Yeah, we've been reporting on them also.
Yes, filled with tons, thousands of tons of humanitarian things like medicine, food, air ambulances, and by his orders, we became the third country around the world who is giving to Gaza all these humanitarian needs.
Very good. And how were relief efforts in Sudan affected by the directives of His Highness the Emir?
It's also the same. Whenever there's floods and there's a war in Sudan, before it was floods, then it became war, and he was ordering us to send also air bridge, and we have sent over 17 planes, filled, of course, with the humanitarian things. Also, we have bought from Egypt many things, and we have sent it by ship from Egypt. By a ship, because they ordered us to give more and more, and the plane's only capacity is 40 tons. So we went to Egypt and send it. I want to send around 200 tons through the sea. Through the sea also. Going to Sudan, yes.
Very good. And can you elaborate on the role of the State of Kuwait and the Red Crescent Society in providing individuals in Turkey and the directives of the late Emir to encourage the assistance?
Yeah, in Turkey also, and in Lebanon before the explosion in Lebanon, and the port, of course, we stayed there 2 months. Of course,
Red Crescent Society.
Yes, we stayed there, and second day after the explosion, and we gave the people there, and we gave the hospitals, and we bought also equipment for the hospitals to help the people there, because many people are affected and many houses were torn down. So we went there with our volunteers, and we bought from Kuwait and from the local market.
Okay.
Also, same thing in Turkey, when the earthquake, the biggest earthquake, 50,000 were dead and thousands were outside. Of course, we cooperate with the Turkish Red Crescent. We have bought from the market there tents, food, everything what they need, equipment for medicine. And we stayed also in Turkey. This is all what happened by instructions of His Highness and the government of Kuwait. And we get the money, of course, from them and from people from Kuwait.
Okay, excellent. And did the late Emir have specified directives to enhance humanitarian solidarity and provide support in emergency situations?
In emergency situation and without emergency, he always tell us, don't leave anybody who is in need, give him. We have now a lot of families, thousands of families, that we are providing them with food, and we are also paying for their school for the kids.
Excellent.
And as you hear him, he was saying, whatever affected me is the old men and the children. And this is since His Highness Sheikh Sabah was there, continuous with Sheikh Nawaf, Kuwait is leading the world in the humanitarian things.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Anwar Al-Hassawi, the Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society. The late Emir's special concern extended beyond dealing with natural disasters and global crises. It also encompassed providing assistance to refugees and migrants. He achieved this through effective collaborations with the United Nations organizations, tirelessly striving to offer support and relief to the most vulnerable groups worldwide. This humanitarian commitment reflected the late Emir's vision of building a better world and extending and helping hand in need, highlighting his enduring humanitarian legacy. We watch the upcoming report and then proceed with our coverage.
The state of Kuwait's efforts in supporting the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees reflect its steadfast commitment to humanitarian causes. Through generous donations and financial aid, Kuwait has played a crucial role in improving the conditions of refugees and supporting the UNHCR's efforts globally. The late Emir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah, may he rest in peace, played a prominent role in this context. He possessed a profound understanding of the challenges faced by refugees and led Kuwait's efforts to enhance humanitarian support, providing assistance to the most vulnerable populations. Thanks to the vision of the late Sheikh and his strong determination, the relationship between Kuwait and the UNHCR witnessed continuous reinforcement. Efforts focused on enhancing infrastructure in refugee camps and ensuring access to education and healthcare for displaced individuals. The State of Kuwait remains dedicated to encouraging the international community to support the UNHCR, symbolizing humanitarian solidarity and a commitment to assisting those who have fled crises and conflicts.
On behalf of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, I present my deep condolences for the passing away of His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah, the Amir of the State of Kuwait. Having seen the public reactions to the passing away of the late Amir, he is a remarkable personality, known, profoundly remembered with his modesty and with his compassion and closeness to the people. It is impressive to see the people remembering the late Amir with his belief that the authority and the power is given by the people and is made in order to address the needs of the people, especially the most vulnerable. This is truly a remarkable personality and a great loss. His love for charity and the work of the charity and the charitable work is clearly seen and observed in the past 2 years through the continuation of Kuwait in leading a humanitarian given. We all know the past 2 years witnessed a multiple humanitarian crisis that emerged all at the same time. The Ukrainian situation, the Afghanistan situation, the Sudan situation, and currently the Gaza situation. It is Kuwait's leading role in humanitarian giving that was seen clearly, which reflects the humanitarian priorities that the late Amir has carried on, having Kuwait as a humanitarian hub. We thank the State of Kuwait for their generous and remarkable contribution to be among the first who addressed the earthquake in Syria and Turkey. And I don't want to only speak about the humanitarian giving of Kuwait through the United Nations, but also their remarkable charitable work through their solid local institutions, especially as we see now in the unfolding crisis in Gaza, with Kuwait being among the first to hold to dispatch humanitarian aid through their local institution. This all reflects the policies of the late Amir, the priorities of the late Amir, and the amazing personality of the late Amir. May his soul rest in peace, and my sincere condolences to the people of Kuwait.
Kuwait has demonstrated the commitment to supporting migrants, recognizing the importance of addressing their unique challenges. Through various initiatives and programs, the country has worked towards providing assistance to migrants, fostering integration, and ensuring their well-being. The late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah's leadership extended to addressing the needs of migrants, emphasizing the importance of inclusivity and understanding the contributions of migrants to society. Efforts have been made to enhance living conditions, provide access to essential services, and promote cultural exchange between migrants and the local community. The State of Kuwait's efforts in supporting the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and Migrants serve as a stellar example of deep humanitarian commitment. Through generous donations and effective measures, the State of Kuwait has emerged as a leader in providing support to the most vulnerable populations on the international stage.
On behalf of the International Organization for Migration, we would like to convey our deepest condolences for the State of Kuwait, for the people of Kuwait, on the passing of His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Sabah. His Highness was a kind person, was a modest person. He was very well known for his support and advocacy for peace and for reconciliation. In terms of the humanitarian work, he has been also known as a emir of very good heart, and he has been very supportive for all the work of the United Nations in order to reach out to people who have been affected by crisis around the world.
The legacy of the late Emir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, with refugees and migrants reflects an exceptional humanitarian vision. The state of Kuwait has actively sought to improve their living conditions and provide necessary support. Kuwaiti assistance stands as a role model for international cooperation in humanitarian development. Certainly, the commitment of the late His Highness the Emir to supporting refugees and migrants sends a powerful message emphasizing the significance of humanitarian solidarity that goes beyond geographical boundaries. It plays a crucial role in constructing a world that is not only more just but also more humane.
With the passing of Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad, the world's lost an international and humanitarian figure throughout his life. He continued the legacy of Kuwait as a leader in philanthropy, supporting charitable and humanitarian work, initiating humanitarian projects to aid the afflicted and stand by the vulnerable worldwide. Notably, he strongly supported and assisted the Palestinian people, advocating for their just cause on the international stage. In this regard, with us is the ambassador of the State of Palestine, Rami, His Excellency Rami Tahboub, over the phone. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I have a few questions for you.
Please.
Could you please shed light on the strong ties between the two countries and how the late Amir played a significant role in supporting the Palestinian cause?
Well, I think that the relations between the two countries are historical for over 100 years, and Kuwait has been supporting the Palestinian people and the Palestinian cause unconditionally and in all aspects and fields. And of course, the late Highness, may his soul rest in peace, was a great supporter to the Palestinian people. He adopted the Palestinian cause since he came into office in 2020, and of course, upon his directions, Kuwait has put the Palestinian cause on its top priority in Kuwaiti foreign policy, and since the aggression over Gaza and the genocide that has been committed and still going on, the late Highness directed the political leadership and the government of Kuwait to launch all available and abilities of Kuwait to support the Palestinian people. Kuwait, since October 7th, was from the very first countries that launched campaigns to relieve the Palestinian people in Gaza. And as everybody knows, that Kuwait sent more than 39 aircrafts full of medical aid, food, and other relief materials to the Palestinian people through the Red Crescent of Kuwait. And of course, all this has happened upon the orders and directions of the late Amir Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, rahimahullah.
That was His Excellency Rami Tahboub, the Palestinian ambassador to the State of Kuwait.
During the reign of the late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad al-Jabr al-Sabah, the state of Kuwait witnessed significant developments in its international relations. The late Amir played a prominent role in strengthening diplomatic ties and fostering economic and cultural relationships with various nations. Regionally, his efforts were dedicated to enhancing stability and regional cooperation, contributing to security and sustainable development. His active participation in official visits and international meetings underscored his commitment to global peace and security issues. The late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad al-Jabr al-Sabah, had a significant and positive relationship with the United Kingdom. Known for his diplomatic finesse, he fostered strong ties between the state of Kuwait and Britain. The relationship between the late Amir and the UK was characterized by mutual respect and collaboration, spanning various areas such as trade, culture, and diplomacy.
I would first like to start by offering my deepest condolences to all the people of Kuwait who are mourning the passing of the late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad al-Jabr al-Sabah. On behalf of the United Kingdom and the whole team at the British Embassy, we were so saddened to hear of his passing. And I've been struck by all of the tributes that have been pouring in from the United Kingdom, from His Majesty King Charles III, from the Prime Minister, from the Foreign Secretary as well. He touched so many people's lives in a very memorable way. And when I think about his reign, of course it was difficult having the interruptions of COVID, but as soon as the country was able to open up and get back to normal, we had that real sense of energy, which I know was at least in part being driven by His Highness. When I think about the notable aspects of what he did for the state of Kuwait, I think of course about the way he was always very open and reaching out to other countries, not just in the region, but also further afield, for example with the United Kingdom, where our relationship went from strength to strength. And I'm sure His late Highness will always be remembered for his leadership in the humanitarian space. Unfortunately, there have been a number of disasters and conflicts closer to Kuwait and also further afield whilst he has been the ruler of Kuwait. And Kuwait has been really notable in the amount of aid and assistance that they have sent, for example, to people affected by the earthquake in Turkey, but also to people who are facing difficulties in Syria, in South Sudan, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Ukraine, and currently now, of course, closer to home in Gaza. So he will be remembered for so many different things, and also for entering public life at just the young age of 25, and then to take on the huge responsibility of many ministerial positions in defence and security and labour and social affairs since then.
His commitment to diplomacy and international collaboration contributed to the enduring friendship between the state of Kuwait and the United Kingdom, leaving a lasting legacy of positive relations between the two countries. In 2015, King Charles III made an official visit to the state of Kuwait, where he was received by the late Amir to conduct discussions related to the bilateral relations between the two countries. The talks aimed to strengthen and develop their ties in various fields, serving their mutual interests. High-level visits such as these underscore the commitment of nations to enhance understanding and international cooperation.
So the relationship between the UK and Kuwait historically has always been strong, and I feel that we've been able to build forward and to improve that excellent relationship during His late Highness's reign. So as soon as we were out of COVID, we saw lots of visits, lots of exchanges and meetings. We've been working closely together, for example, on investment. Just during the summer, we were very, very pleased to celebrate the 70th anniversary of Kuwait's Sovereign Wealth Fund. We signed a strategic investment partnership between the UK and Kuwait. We've been working together to increase the numbers of Kuwaiti students who are continuing their education in the UK, and our people-to-people links, I think, have never been stronger. We have lots of different visitors from Kuwait to the UK and also in the opposite direction, people doing business together or just enjoying each other's countries and culture. And I'm sure that this will continue to get stronger and stronger as time goes on.
The relationship between the State of Kuwait and Britain spans many years and is characterized by bilateral cooperation in various fields. Both countries are committed to enhancing economic, political, and cultural ties. The two nations have continued to engage through official visits and the signing of agreements to strengthen cooperation in trade and culture. This relationship reflects the commitment of the State of Kuwait and Britain to enhancing international cooperation and developing strategic partnerships.
And of course, as well as shouldering all that huge responsibility that His late Highness has as the Amir, he was also, of course, a person, a family man. And I've heard lots of stories about how fond he was of children. And when he went to the mosque, often he would take time to greet the children first. He would say hello to the kids during official meets and greets. I've also been told that he was very keen on driving his own car and would often insist on driving himself to meetings, which reminded me of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who also liked to do the same thing. And I'm so glad that I had the honour and privilege of meeting His late Highness when I presented my credentials back in May 2021. And the first question that His late Highness asked me was, "And how is the Queen?" And I thought that was such a kind thing. The first thing he thought about was Queen Elizabeth II, and he wanted to know, was she well and how was she doing? I remember his energy and enthusiasm when he was talking to me about the bilateral relationship between the UK and Kuwait, and that's a memory that I'll always treasure.
During the reign of the late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, the relationship between the State of Kuwait and Australia saw continued development and collaboration. His Highness played a crucial role in fostering diplomatic ties and enhancing cooperation between the two nations. The diplomatic relations between the State of Kuwait and Australia have been characterized by mutual respect and shared interests. The economic partnership has grown, with both countries exploring opportunities for trade and investment. Efforts to strengthen cultural exchanges and educational collaborations have further deepened the understanding between the peoples of the State of Kuwait and Australia.
On behalf of the Australian Government and people, I extend my heartfelt condolences to Kuwait over the passing of His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah. His Highness took the leadership at a time of immense global challenge, during a global pandemic not seen for 100 years, at a time when nations and peoples have been more divided than united. In the face of these challenges and under his leadership, Kuwait has prospered. It has played an important role for stability in the region and beyond, standing up for international law and peace. His Highness will be remembered for his humility and his commitment to building consensus, which he displayed over many decades of public service and which have upheld Kuwait's role as a true friend to all, including Australia.
Under the late Amir's leadership, both countries engaged in diplomatic dialogues to address regional and international challenges, reflecting a commitment to stability and cooperation. The enduring legacy of this era includes a foundation for ongoing diplomatic, economic, and cultural ties between the State of Kuwait and Australia. The State of Kuwait maintained strong ties with India, and these relations witnessed diverse cooperations in various fields, ranging from the economy and trade to cultural exchange. The bilateral dialogue persisted in achieving mutual progress and enhancing mutual understanding between the two countries, reflecting a positive commitment to building a lasting and fruitful partnership between the State of Kuwait and India.
On behalf of the Indian Embassy in Kuwait and the large Indian community in Kuwait, I pay my deepest condolences on the sad demise of the late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah. Under his visionary leadership, Kuwait made great strides towards peace and prosperity. With his demise, Kuwait and the region have lost a tall leader who will be remembered for times. Not only did Kuwait lose a visionary leader, but his contribution towards strengthening of India-Kuwait bilateral relations has been immense. Under his patronage, India-Kuwait relations developed in different spheres. As a mark of respect to His Highness, the late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf, India declared a state mourning on 17th of December. Prime Minister Narendra Modi immediately messaged his condolences to the Amir. He deputed his envoy, Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, to visit Kuwait to pay condolences on behalf of the government and people of India to the Amir. We also made obituary references in the both houses of the Parliament, the Lok Sabah and the Rajya Sabah, on 18th of December to pay respects to the departed leader. Apart from the government, the Indian community in Kuwait joined the Indian Embassy in observing a 2-minute silence on 17th of December throughout Kuwait. India stands united with Kuwait in this moment of grief. The large Indian community in Kuwait will definitely miss his compassionate care and benevolence. We once again pay our condolences to the leadership, the government, and the people of Kuwait on this unfortunate occasion.
The late Amir, Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad, left a legacy that extends beyond politics and humanitarian work. He was also a sports enthusiast. He was an inspiring sports leader, driving the development of sports in Kuwait during his reign. His relationship with sports clubs and federations in Kuwait was a source of inspiration, actively supporting them and thereby promoting sportsmanship and developing in society. His sporting legacy stands as a testament to his love for athletic endeavors and the prominent role he played in enhancing them. It is right for people to mourn their humble, wise, and approachable leader. Athletes in particular have the right to grieve for their sports-loving Amir, who was interested in every detail of their activities. Since the beginning of his political career, the late Amir Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad has been a supporter of athletes. He was a well-known sports enthusiast who played football before entering politics and distancing himself from the sports field. However, he remained closely connected, showing genuine interest. Everyone knows that Sheikh Nawaf was a fan of Al-Qadsiya, loving the yellow colors and holding the honorary presidency of the club in the 70s. He attended team matches sitting in the stands without drawing attention. Despite holding positions seemingly distant from sports, Sheikh Nawaf remained engaged and cared for sports. Even after assuming the role of Crown Prince in 2006, he honored champions, crowned winners, and received distinguished athletes. Upon becoming the Emir in September 2020, he continued his support for sports, instructing to overcome all obstacles facing athletes. In this regard, joining us is former Deputy Director General of the General Sports Authority, Dr. Sagir Al-Mullah. Hello, Doctor.
Hello, thank you for giving me the chance to express my condolences to His Highness the Amir of Kuwait, Sheikh Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, and to the Kuwaiti citizens and the ruling family, and for the Arab and Islamic nation for the loss of this great leader, His Highness the late Amir Sheikh Nawaf Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah.
You're most welcome, and thank you for taking the time to join us. I have a few questions for you. The first one is, how did the late Amir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad lead the development of sports in Kuwait during his reign?
Oh, that's a tough question, because we cannot summarize or talk about it in certain seconds or minutes. How do I begin to mention the career of His Highness the late Amir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah? He is one of the founders of the Olympic movements in Kuwait, and a major participant in the renaissance of Kuwaiti sports since its beginning. During the reign of His Highness the late Amir in 2021, we announced the Kuwaiti Sports Development Strategy 2022-2028 that were adopted by the Public Authority for Sports. And also during the reign of His Highness, we began the actual steps to develop Kuwaiti sports. We hosted many world, international, regional, Arab and Gulf championships. And in 2012, we began the actual steps towards professional sports within the state of Kuwait by adopting the new the new support for the professional athletes. We also started the development of the sport venues and facilities with the extended support of His Highness. Also, we would like to mention that the KPIs of the work environment in the Public Authority for Sports were substantially improved with his support. His Highness was a huge, as you mentioned in the report you just showed to the people, that His Highness was a huge supporter of youth and sports fans, in particular in Kuwait, and he loved all the sports clubs, but especially he loved the Qadsiya Sports Club. What can we say other than that? We will never forget his advices, legacy, and his presence between us.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was the former Deputy Director General of the General Sports Authority, Dr. Sagar Al-Mullah. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back, our dear viewers. We will now discuss the Kuwaiti economy and development efforts during the era of the late Amir. We will explore the impact of his economic policies and aspirations in promoting sustainable development in this economic context. Let's together examine how the late Amir left his mark on Kuwait's economic landscape and how his efforts contributed to achieving economic progress and prosperity. To delve deeper into this aspect, we have with us in the studio the Secretary General of the Supreme Council for Planning and Development, Dr. Khalid Mahdi. Hello, Doctor.
Hello, my dear.
Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I have a few questions for you. We'll start with, what were the key achievements and milestones during the late Amir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad's tenure in terms of development?
Before I start with answering your question, I would like to express my condolences to His Highness the Amir of Kuwait, Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, and the whole Kuwaiti people, as well as the Al-Sabah family, for our great loss in the late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah. During his era, the Sheikh Nawaf focus on many aspects that actually impacted the economy, as well impacted the development in the country.
Yes, sir.
At the beginning, it is the continuation of the effort is being done by the late Amir, His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, on articulating the vision New Kuwait 2035, and to continue the efforts of what is being done as a part of the Kuwait National Development Plan. That continuation is very essential and very important when it comes to having a solid impact on the economy, as well as the continuation of the projects and the program of the Kuwait National Development Plan. This actually had a great influence on how we proceed. I remember many of his speeches.
Yes.
The late Amir, His Highness, focused on the importance of collaboration between all the entities, and he articulated this very clearly in all of the speeches, that the collaboration between the entities are very important in order to get to the aspiration of the Kuwaiti people, which is his main focus.
Yes.
His main focus was to improve the living standard of the Kuwaiti, and also to see more of development happening in the country. Part of his history, when he was the governor of the Hawali, during his early stage when he was into the government, Hawali used to be a small village, and that's a small village. And during his era at that time, when he was the governor of Hawali, he took Hawali from a small village to a more of a commercial and residential center, and that type of mentality we are talking about, the focus on development, the focus on bringing a better life for the people.
Yes.
The later, when he was in charge of the Ministry of Interior, we saw a great development happening at the administration level of the Ministry of Interior. He focused on the mayors. He started the mayor department, he started the election department. He focused on building capacity of the youthful Kuwaitis, and to bring more Kuwaitis and bring Kuwaitization into these ministries.
Yes, sir.
In all positions, the late Amir held in the government, he actually added a great value that it is being focused totally on the development of the country. Many of the policies in the Kuwait National Development Plan is being continued and are as well as being pushed for. And one of the most important policies is the anti-corruption policy.
Yes.
There was a lot of work done during his time on the anti-corruption. Many cases went to the general attorney, which is really a sign of enforcing the power of law on compacting anti-corruption. And you might ask how the anti-corruption related development. When you are compacting corruption and you are focusing on integrity, you are definitely bringing the country to a better development stage.
Of course.
And they come hand to hand. Also during his era, we had the Kuwait is being listed as in the rule of law index, and we've been ranked second among the region, and 52 globally worldwide. This is a very important and a very good indication of how we are moving into that direction. Also, part of the national development as well, the late Amir focused on communication with the people. And he actually pushed for having more interaction. There were a platform called Tawasul, it's being formed in order to bring all the complaints, all of the proposals, all of the ideas in order to reach the authority. And this is part of the developmental process of the country. Basically, what we saw is more of a continuation of the Kuwait National Development Plan, focus more on education as well, higher education. We reported more than almost 15,000 of the students, when 35,000 students were being taken to the higher education. Job opportunity were shown as well in the private sector and in the public sector. Also, more of the land is being released in order to bring more projects.
Yes.
And currently, you see development in South Sa'd al-Abdallah. We saw more development in the Al-Mutla area.
Yes.
These are very essential projects as part of the national plan. We saw progress. We saw more of follow-up when it comes to the progress of the national plan. However, given all of these challenges, we are guided by his speeches in which he focused on the importance of collaboration. And from that aspect, and I have to admit, we saw a great interaction between the legislative body of the government and the executive body in the government. Several laws were passed, and it's part of the political reform. Even the government, the election of the committees inside the National Assembly, it's becoming more of it's the business of the National Assembly. And the government non-intervention, it's impacted greatly on the economic initiative that's being done in the country. And that type of collaboration impacted heavily on the improper laws. One of them is, for example, the city laws, which is passed in his time. This is a very important law. It's a part of the real estate development. And this type of law does not come without a proper collaboration between the legislative and the executive part of the government. And being the head of the state, and he's the father of everyone and the father of all powers and all the bodies. That type of collaboration, we saw, and very interestingly, shared committee between the National Assembly and the government on a roadmap on several legislation. These are very crucial for the development of the country. That type of political stability is bringing more on the economic front. We experience stability as well when it comes to the sovereign rating of the country. We did not experience any drops at that time. We saw a lot of stability in a different economic front. We saw more of compacting the inflation, which has been experienced around the world. But if you look at Kuwait, Kuwait has been in a very good control of that type of inflation.
Watching prices.
Exactly. So there were a lot of good activities has been happening. And I have to admit, this is coming from his vision of improving the life of the Kuwaitis. It's part of his feeling of the Kuwaiti people. And if you listen to all of his speeches, the focus is on using what they call positive democracy to bring the country, focus on security, and the focus on national development, as well as focusing on compacting corruption. These are major impacts. And actually, we can derive them as a statements from the late Amir, coming from all the speeches we heard, we read, we studied as a part of improving the country's development toward the Kuwait Vision 2035.
Excellent, Doctor. And I have one more question for you. Can you highlight any notable environmental or sustainability initiatives during his time as Amir?
Before I head to this very important and crucial question, because Kuwait participated in the carbon neutrality in the COP, and the announcement of carbon neutrality done in his era, the carbon neutrality of 2050 for the oil sector and 2060 for the whole nation. And it was been announced in Sharm el-Sheikh and been very much enforced and focused on in the late COP 28 in Dubai.
Dubai, yes.
But before I head to that direction, I want to shed the light on very important things related to the digital transformation of the country.
Yes, we have
and to the focus on sustainability. This is part of your question as well. And focus more on the greening of the country. The signatory, which is a very important at the international level, with the Republic of China. The People Republic of China, when the signatories of all of these important memorandum of understanding that focus on the sustainability and of the economy, as well as on renewable energy as well, also on improving the logistic and developments in the country. So these are all part of what I call the sustainability of the economy in the country. As you know, our main issue is the sustainability. It is not about the wealth, it is how to sustain the wealth. I go back now to the very important issue you mentioned on the environment. In his time, we actually finalized the voluntary national report, the second one, which we presented in the United Nations. It was our second report in 2023 in the High Political Forum, which shed the light on how Kuwait advances during his era in the Sustainable Development Goal, the 17 goals of the United Nations. There are a lot of progress has been done since the COVID-19, and after that we experience a lot of good advances when it comes to the sustainable development goals in the country. Greening the economy, greening the country, it was main focuses, are very important as a part of his vision to bring the country in a much greener future. And with the announcement of carbon neutrality and the COP, whether in 2050 or in 2060 for the nation, 2050 for the oil sector. The oil sector also announced its strategy to move toward more of a greener and much sustainable future. These are very important issues when it comes to the environmental sustainability. And before I finish my talk on that aspect, I want to mention also the humanitarian aspect of his character, which was very clear and obvious, whether at the local level or at the national and global level. For example, when the issue happened with the burning of the Quran in Sweden, the country announced on his command 100,000 print of Quran in order to combat Islamophobia in these areas, and also to focus on values of peace. These are very important issues, which is being commanded directly by the late Amir. And now look at all the other crises around and disaster around the world. Our stand for Gaza, it is coming from the highest official, the head of the state, from the late Amir.
We show reports
to
daily.
To the people, and you did show it, and I want to emphasize it. This is very crucial because Kuwait is being ranked as a humanitarian center of the world. And we continue this legacy. The late Amir continued that legacy, which is very important to have an international positioning in Kuwait with respect to the humanitarian. And we are still continuing. Take a look at what we did in Derna, in Libya. Take a look at what we did with what happened in Morocco.
The earthquake, right?
As well as the earthquake in Turkey.
Another one.
Kuwait has been very responsive to disaster. And needless to talk about it because everybody knows that. But what you need to know that it is done under his command and his will to see the humanitarian side of Kuwait as being around the whole globe.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Secretary General of the Supreme Council for Planning and Development, Dr. Khalid Mahdi. Thank you so much for your time, dear viewers.